Hey everybody, let's talk about Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. So this is a new movie out. It's a Canadian comedy and it is based on a series. However, you do not have to see the series to enjoy this movie. I've actually never seen the full show. I've just seen clips and scenes that are really iconic and get reposted all the time. Like the Wii Shop Channel episode, Update Day.
Super Mario RPG, Sonic the Hedgehog, Donkey Kong 3, Adventures of Lolo 1 and 2.
The movie and series stars Matt Johnson and Jay McCarrol, and I don't even really want to say too much about the plot, but it is just like an hilarious adventure buddy comedy. I think this is the hardest I've laughed in a movie theater in like 10 years or maybe even ever. It is just such a hilarious adventure of a movie, and it's not just funny with dialogue, but also with like the filmmaking of it, the action of it. It just has so much going for it, from funny performances to hilarious scene premises. I feel like the best way I could describe it is it's two guys in a band trying to play a venue, and they're willing to try anything other than ask the venue if they can perform there, which leads to them always coming up with big plans to try to secure the venue. And since the show follows all of these plans, naturally the movie might be the biggest one yet. I think what excites me most about this movie is what it means for comedy and independent filmmaking, because Matt and Jay made Nirvana, the band, the show as a free web series which had a really niche cult following, which then turned into a Viceland show, and now a movie with Neon attached to it, and the Canadian government paid for it. And so I'm really excited something like this is going to a much bigger audience. Because not only is it just hilarious, but it's so creative, and you can tell that they made it very run and gun, filming on the streets with no permits, and the people that they talk to in the movie who become characters are just regular people who don't even know that they're in a movie. So some of the feats and things that they accomplish by filming in public with essentially no permission really has you scratching your head the entire time wondering, how did they do this? And so I think my attention was held the entire time watching the fictional plot take course. But there's also all these like added stakes of interest while you're watching it, because you're just wondering like, how are they doing this and how are they not getting in trouble? And Matt Johnson, the director, has been doing Q&As at different screenings, and he said recently that essentially the entire crew was arrested over the course of making this film. What's also really exciting about Matt Johnson as a director is through his work with Nirvana, the band, the show, as well as his other projects like directing the Blackberry movie with Glenn Howerton, they get away with a lot of copyrighted material without licensing it, just under fair use. Pretty much everybody is taught that to use copyrighted material, you have to notify the copyright holders, and it's a really expensive licensing process. But Matt and Jay have adopted this philosophy where if you're using licensed material, but it is integral to the plot of the movie, you can make an argument that it is fair use, essentially under the thought that you're sampling it and it is completely transformative and integral to the plot of the movie. And with Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, that is on full display in so many ways. Every time you see copyrighted material, it is like perfectly effective to the plot of the characters. It is hilariously used, and it also just adds this extra layer thinking that they might not have paid to use any of it. I know I'm being really vague, but if you feel like there's not been a good, funny comedy movie to go laugh at in the theaters in like a decade, this is the one to do it. I feel like growing up there was no shortage of Seth Rogen movies and Will Ferrell movies, and then down the line, you know, there was stuff like 21 Jump Street. Some people really like Hot Tub Time Machine, but in general, there has just not been big, culturally significant moment comedy films in theaters in a while. I feel that most comedy films that come out are actually just action movies in disguise, and almost all of them have Kevin Hart in it. It's either Jumanji or Kevin Hart with The Rock or Kevin Hart with Bryan Cranston, whatever. It's just a lot of action movies or stuff like Ghostbusters remakes. And so Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie being just like such a specific comedic voice and so funny, like the entire theater was just dying laughing the entire time I saw this thing. I want to go see it 2 more times, so I'm really just making this video to recommend it. And on this side channel that I'm now running, I hope to just sort of discuss music and movies and just all sorts of things that I think is worth recommending or things worth criticizing. But in this case, I'm super excited. Also, Matt Johnson is directing a Anthony Bourdain biopic starring the actor who was in The Holdovers the other year, and it's going to have Stavros Halkias. And yeah, so it's just really exciting seeing Matt Johnson kind of become more of a mainstream director while still having all these sensibilities of just being kind of the king of like independent, loose, on-the-fly comedic filmmaking. There's a lot of cool interviews with him you can check out. He was just recently interviewed by Joel Haver. He talked with Stavros Halkias, and there's tons of clips of him talking in Q&As after screenings. A bird just flew by. But anyways, yeah, Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. He even says himself that it's like better if you haven't seen the show before, because it really just throws you in and it's made for an audience that has no idea what this is. But yeah, that's about it. Bye.